We found our place on the branch of an old gum tree. Our feet would sway to a voice in the breeze. And birds would sing on the banks of a narrow stream. These memories will stay with me.
Hey everyone, it is Evie Lareau. I'm here, bourbon in hand, saying hi. Summer 2023, here we go. Oh my gosh. So this is not blood. This is red food coloring because I was doing a volcano experiment with my third graders. But anyways, I was gonna put like the green screen behind me and kind of do like a fun little thing montage, but dirty hair and all, I thought I'd just do my intro now because I'm literally right in the middle of moving my furniture over to my new house. Renovations are taking forever, so and school's ending and all that jazz and everything going on. So here we go. I am so excited to see everyone this summer and kind of just celebrate all the challenges that we've been through this past year. All right. So, Dr. Rutledge or Dr. Dave has given us a couple questions to answer for these intros. First off, my name is Evie Lareau. My pronouns are she, her. Positionality wise, I am a white, middle class, able bodied, heterosexual, xenial, cisgender feminist, artist, and repatriated American citizen. I moved back to the States June 15th of last year. So we're coming on a year, and man, has a lot of stuff happened, which I'm very excited to share with you. Anyhow, question number 1. Your main research interest? Well, I applied to the program as a critical pedagogies focus. I also am curriculum design with a primary focus in arts-based strategies. Question number 2, your expertise. What brought you to this point of pursuing a doctoral degree? My specializations include visual arts, arts integration, art therapy based /SEL, which is socio-emotional learning, project-based lessons, individualized learning plans and independent learning models, alternative learning spaces, and curriculum coaching. The things that I have really dove into and are really focusing on within this PhD has been feminist theory, primarily with the root influence being bell hooks, decolonized curriculum. Obviously, Freire is a huge influence. Eve Tuck has become a big popular one of mine from this past class that we've taken. Gendered language, also translanguaging in the scope of writing curriculum. And lastly, culturally responsive and culturally sustaining learning environments incorporated into curriculum. And of course, Paris and Aline are at the top of the list for that. So number 3, your experience with research. Well, I got my Master's of Science in Art Therapy with a minor in counseling. For my thesis, I wrote a qualitative phenomenological research study, art exchange corresponding to attachment related needs for children and youth. And so the first social action project that I created was an art exchange between children in the Boys and Girls Club of Milwaukee, Greater Milwaukee, with a Hagwon in Seoul, South Korea. And they had about 4 different exchanges, and I really investigated and looked into kind of like the meaning, the deeper meaning behind that, and scripts and languages and metaphorical meanings and all of that. My second exchange was called the Youth Art Exchange, and it took place, well, so let me just preface. I originally had proposed just to do the young children's social art exchange, but that fell through because of funding, grant funding. So then I was like, oh gosh, what am I going to do? So that was an international exchange. I then created a domestic exchange. And at the time, I was working in a residential treatment center and alternative school for adjudicated youth ages 10 to 17. So, with previous experience in Santa Fe, New Mexico, working in a residential treatment center, I created the Youth Art Exchange and had an exchange with the boys at my alternative school in Mukwonago, Wisconsin, with the juvie in Santa Fe, New Mexico. This exchange ultimately failed, and I had to, through this whole phenomenological process, go through, why it failed and what that means, and kind of really explore so many different concepts. And it was really hard. I learned so much about it. So that's why I was last semester, I was always being like, you may want to hold off on phenomenological research. It is a doozy. It is just so much self-work. But anyways, I don't regret it. I think it's also important to note that my master's program in art therapy was also the reason why I picked it, was because it was an existential based art therapy program, which was the only one in the country. I mean, there's art therapy is not a big field. And at the time, there was only about 20 programs in the entire country that were offering a master's program. So I was very excited to be a part of this concept of an existential approach to this therapy. If any of you don't know what art therapy is, it is the ability to express and emote your feelings through an art activity. And there is a spectrum of what art therapy does. So on one end, you have the Freudian aspect, which is where all of the psychotherapists of the 60s came out. So psychoanalytics, as we know it, as in the medical field and the psychoanalytic field, is basically you do a task and then it is analyzed. Okay, so the most famous assessment that was created, which was created by psychiatrists, not our therapists, and not anyone that has kind of like a creative background. So basically, it's the house treat person assessment. What you do is there's several different ways you could go about doing it, but you give a piece of paper and you tell the child, draw a house, and you don't give any other information besides that. Some therapists choose to do all 3 images on the same paper. Others do 3 separate different papers, but you continue the process. You then give the task of create a tree. You don't tell them what time of year it is. You don't tell them what type of tree it is. You just let them decide what kind of a tree it is. You then say, draw a person. You don't tell them what gender. You don't tell them who it should be. Should it be them? Should it be somebody else? You completely leave this entire scope blank. Okay. After they have done these 3 different tasks, then you go back in and you analyze everything. Did the house have a chimney? If it didn't have a chimney, there's no love in the house. Did it have any windows? Was there a pathway leading up to the house? Where was the entryway? All these different things. The tree, were there leaves on the tree? What time of year was the tree? Where was the tree placed in accordance to anything? The person I think is the most important thing. Do they draw themselves? Do they draw somebody else? Do they draw themselves as a different gender? Do they draw a parent? Do they draw more than one person? Sometimes it happens. Okay. So you go back in and you take apart everything and you basically analyze all these different concepts, and that kind of gives you your diagnosis. Okay. That's one aspect of it. And on the other side of the spectrum was Jungian approach, where it is considered art as therapy. And so oftentimes when we're approached with a challenge or conflict, we respond in a certain way. And so recreating that approach through an art activity helped us to kind of broach that challenge or conflict with the client. And with that, art therapy is the leading approach for veterans who have PTSD. And without saying, I received a degree or study within the Jungian approach of art as therapy. And it has highly influenced how I do and write curriculum to this day. Now, other forms of research that I have kind of worked through and explored. Last semester, we all took a class, and my primary methodology was participatory action research. And I am still very much interested in that process, but also pairing it with our art space research, not just as a methodology through gathering the data and assessing it and kind of categorizing it. So there's multiple forms of how I want to use art space research in partnership with participatory action research. I want to be able to gather arts-based research, and then I want to be able to kind of dissect and desegregate, and I want to be able to kind of analyze and look through and create those deeper meanings through arts-based research as well. I also, as a dissertation, want to present it in a very non-traditional artistic way. So I'm kind of polling quite a few different things within that aspect. Question number 4, what do you hope to take away from this course? Well, I hope to approach this very kind of complicated nature of research that I'm interested in, all the different multiple layers that I'm trying to understand and incorporate. I also want to come to a definitive answer of, is it actually possible? My topic last semester was diving into decolonized curriculum, and spending months and months and months on researching something does not necessarily give you the right to be able to do it. As a matter of fact, the more you learn about something, the more you question it, correct? So my biggest takeaway from all of this research that I've done, and I went to the AERA conference in Chicago and went to so many decolonized lectures, and I was left with this kind of like very eerie thought of, not can I, but should I, as a white cisgender feminist, engage in decolonized curriculum? So that's something I'm still kind of battling with. I also hope to be able to kind of funnel down and refine the direction that I'm trying to broach with my dissertation topic. So all of that in hand, I'm so excited to kind of explore all of our summer classes together, and even more so, just sit down, have a cocktail, and enjoy us in the physical sense. Cheers.